Good evening from Harpa in Reykjavík. Today I would just like to mention two things. One is Harpa itself and the other is Icelandic women. Harpa is a relatively new concert hall built on the seashore of Reykjavík near the old harbor, which I see. You can't see it because it's night outside and it's also very cold and windy outside, so we are very happy to be inside. Harpa is a controversial building to some extent because it's very big. It's also very beautiful, and as you can see, airwaves to a large extent moved to Harpa. Fortunately, not all the concerts are taking place here. All of the concert halls are very good. There are still concerts going on in Reykjavík itself, in smaller clubs, and it is interesting. It is interesting to see how it will be like 5 years from now, when Harpa will attract more and more concerts into its beautiful places. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. We will see. That's Harpa. Now Icelandic women. Everybody who knows just anything, just a little bit about Icelandic music knows Björk. And it is interesting that Björk was not the only female musician from Iceland who was and is simply extraordinary. It started with Björk and continues through Emiliana Torrini and other big singers, female singers, I mean musicians. But we saw during the last 24 hours, we saw several singer-songwriters, female singer-songwriters from a younger generation, and they were as awesome as Björk and Emiliana. For example, Soleil, I mentioned her last night. She is very creative. She has the ability to compose somehow broken songs which, in spite of that brokenness, stick together. Another wonderful example is Mr.Silla. Mr.Silla is actually the band of Silla Gísladóttir from the band called Moom, quite famous Moom. She's a very interesting singer and also composer. In Moom, we used to know her as a very gentle, playful singer and violin player and ukulele player. Now in her band, Mr.Silla, it is very energetic. It's rock and roll. Tonight we saw her singing and playing ukulele with Icelandic singer called Snorri Helgason, and it was still another side of Silla. There was more soul in it, a little bit of jazz, chanson perhaps. Very interesting singer. The third and the last I mention is a very young girl called Jofridur. And last night we saw her with her band Pascal Pinon. Tonight we saw her in another band called Samaris. And Samaris was really quite fascinating because it's, I would call it Icelandic trip hop, a very playful again, almost childlike, magical, and Jofridur Akadóttir is the star of that band. So there are plenty of very interesting Icelandic female musicians, and that's not the only way, of course, to come to Iceland and to listen to Icelandic music. Oops, I'm sorry.